afternoon, and good evening, EXP family. What is going on? Welcome to Level Up. My name is Alyssa Specht. I'm with EXP University. So pumped to be here with y'all today. In fact, as we start off today, let me check in. I want you to comment in the chat. Let me know, where are you joining us from today? I am here in dreary Green Bay, Wisconsin, hoping for a little bit of sun today. Let us know in the chat whether you're watching in EXP World, on Workplace, on YouTube. Let us know, where are you joining us here from today. So welcome back. I want to welcome to our return viewers, but I also want to take a moment to acknowledge those who might be joining us for the very first time. Welcome to Level Up. So I want to welcome you. We're bringing you the training that's going to help you level up your business, level up your life. So we go live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday with training that's going to help you grow in any market. So to start off today, I'm going to give you the rundown of what are we even doing here today. So to kick things off today, we're going to talk to my friend and soon to be yours, Sara Delansig. So by now, you guys might know Sara. She's been hanging out with us for the last 3 weeks, doing a series about ISAs. What's an ISA, you might say? It's an inside sales agent. And so today is part 4 of 4, where Sara's going to talk to us about the difference between an ISA team member and an ISA service. So super exciting, super informative. And if you've missed any of this series, don't worry, because we are going to have Sara back live with us next week for a live Q&A. So I want you to write down the questions that spark today, because you're going to have the option to interact, ask those questions live with Sara next week on Wednesday. So back to today, though. After we talk to Sara, we are going to mosey on over and talk to Ricky Carruth and Juan Barreneche about building and nurturing client relationships with your clients. So, and folks, we're not done after that. After that, we are bringing the heat with Joseph Trulio, Gabe Mendez, with Triple Threat Talks, which I'm super excited about. It's going to leave you inspired, excited, motivated. So be ready for that. So before we get launched in today, I want to just quickly ask you to subscribe to the eXp Realty YouTube channel and hit that notification bell, because that will let you know the next time we go live. We've always got a lot of very, very exciting things on Level Up. And I happen to know that we have a few things up our sleeves. So make sure that you hit that notification bell so you get that notification. So next up then, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Sara Delansig.
Hey everyone, this is Sara Delansig, your friendly ISA, here to help you understand more about real estate ISAs and the difference between an ISA service and an ISA team member. So let's just get into it and see what we've got. This is going to be a little bit strange because I have like pros and cons of what they are, and pretty much they're the opposite. So I'm going to try to explain. And then there's also this other issue where I'm talking about the majority of ISA services. And for anyone that's already watched some of my other videos, you might know that I own an ISA company, which is like a boutique ISA company for busy real estate agents that use digital marketing and video at a very high level. So we don't work with just anyone, but my ISA company is a little different. So I'm going to use the example of other ISA services and not my own. And if I do use my own, I will make sure to specify. So I just want to preface that when we get into this. So, okay, so you might be like, okay, yeah, Sara, I heard Tina tell me that I needed to hire an ISA service. Where do I start? And you're like, okay, yes, you can hire an ISA service, or you can hire somebody that's a part of your team. Let's start with someone that's a part of your team, okay? So I would recommend this over hiring an ISA service. Yes, I said that, even though I own an ISA service. It's gonna be better for you, no joke. So you might wanna do that. Now, the reasons are plentiful, and so let's get into them. Number one, an ISA team member will call from your dialer and your CRM. So the data that you want to see, like how many calls per hour they're making and how many appointments they're setting, that should be in there. So depending on what kind of CRM you're using and what kind of dialer you're using, somebody that is part of your team is going to have those numbers readily available, and you're going to be able to see it in there, and it's not going to be confusing or disconnected or discombobulated. Okay. So the other thing is, when you hire somebody as a team member, you are selecting them, you're interviewing them, and you're saying, okay, you're going to come work exclusively on my team, and you're going to make calls for, whatever the Sara Delansig home team or whatever the case may be. I don't sell real estate, but that's just an example. Okay. So they're exclusive. They're local. A lot of times they don't have to be local, but I would say most of the time, the majority of the time, they're going to be local. They're going to come in to an office maybe, or work exclusively with your team somehow remotely, but still connected and understand the market, which is really cool, because then you're going to have more control over what they are trained to do and how much real estate experience they might have or don't have, or whatever the case may be, as far as where you want it to go. And I would say that the goal is that they work on their license while they're an ISA to get to the point where they become maybe a buyer's agent or a listing agent on your team. And that all depends on your scalability and what your team wants to do and how you want to do it. But this is just what I see works. So I'm going to share it. The other thing about a team member is that you're going to pay them hourly, and then you're going to pay them a bonus for setting appointments, most likely. And then you're going to pay them a commission for anything that closes. And now you're going dollar, 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 dollar sign. Whoa. No. Well, that's why an ISA service might be a better option, but we'll get to that in just a second. My recommendation for this is that you don't get rid of the commission and bonuses. An ISA should be a highly incentivized position. The best thing to do is pay them less hourly and give them bigger incentives to set better appointments or to get more closings. But that has to work in conjunction with what you are doing. And so your conversion is their conversion. And I want to make that very clear. I'm going to say that again. Your conversion is their conversion. Okay, so if you are a lazy agent or have lazy agent syndrome, LAS as I like to call it, stop, because an ISA is not going to want to work with you, and you rob them of joy when you don't pick up the phone when they're live transferring or refuse to go to a listing appointment, which has happened to me. So don't be that. Okay. So if you're going to pay them less hourly and incentivize them more, then you want to make sure that you show up for that. Now, the cool thing is that you, as I said before, have more control over this. So you'll get to decide what constitutes a bonus for an appointment set. Does that mean that the person clearly stated that they do not have an agent and that they are ready to buy or sell within 90 days and that they want to talk to you? And if they're a buyer, they're pre-approved already. That's up to you. That's up to you. How much they get paid for that, that's up to you. And you want those things to progress as the ISA, grows with you and grows with your team. So I just want to throw that out there. So the, team members are going to be a better option for a lot of people. There are some drawbacks on an ISA team member. Okay. And one of those things is that it's not an easy position to fill. Okay. Side note, waitresses. Okay. Waitresses make great ISAs. I was a waitress myself. So if you're having a hard time finding someone that has the right personality for this, go out to eat and see if you can find somebody with the right personality. So, because they also work for tips, so they understand, you can pay them minimum wage and then you can add tips on there or whatever the case, or bonuses or commission or whatever. And I won't talk about like what that looks like. There is a lot of data out there that you can look up. It just depends on what area you're in as far as how much you pay them, what you pay a bonus. But I would say that it doesn't have to be a percentage of commission either, especially if you're in an area that has a highly dispersed, like a big difference in the types of homes. Like maybe some are $1 million plus and some are, 40,000, right? I don't know. But in order to make it so they're not cherry picking which ones they want to call and, giving more attention to certain ones, you can just make it a $500, $500 per closing or something like that. It just depends. So you have the control over that. And that's what's cool, and it's also amazing because you have scalability with that, which is not exactly an option with an ISA service. I mean, it could be, but I just haven't seen that as well. Okay. Let's see. So ISA team member cons. Okay. So the cons of an ISA team member are that it's going to take more of your time. You're going to need to be more hands-on. You're going to need to spend more money, and you're going to need to make sure that they have the right motivations and coaching and, give them a disc profile. And then the other thing is that they don't have as much flexibility, right? So if it's like a remote position and then the person's always calling in sick, well, now your leads aren't getting followed up with, right? Because if you have one ISA and they're calling in sick and then nothing's happening. So the cool thing with an ISA service is that those aren't the problems. So it's literally just a flip-flop, like all the pros and cons of hiring someone for your team are flip-flopped for an ISA service. But let's talk about an ISA service. And we can still talk about it, and I'll just explain it to you. So with an ISA service, you don't have to train anyone, right? They come with ISAs. The ISAs, you might get multiple ISAs. You might not know your ISA, right? They're going to be less money. You're probably not going to be paying them a percentage of commission depending on, what the setup is. At least when I did the research to start my ISA company, the majority of ISA companies are a monthly set fee. Okay. There are some that do, take a percentage or request a bonus for appointment set. You have to clearly outline that no matter what industry you're in or what you decide to do. Right. So, but with the ISA service, you have people that are already trained. You have people that are flexible, that are going to show up, and it's going to be different hours. They're going to be able to, sometimes call through your CRM, sometimes not call through your CRM. It really is more of a done for you service, right? Like that's what it is. You might get somebody that's virtual, right? So the cons of an ISA service are that they're virtual, right? They might not know your area. They may have no real estate experience whatsoever. They don't have any loyalty to you or to your team. Maybe they do. Who knows? This all depends on the relationship that you have with your ISA, which is why I decided to do things a little differently myself. So, but either way, you want to make sure your ISA and you have a good relationship. So regardless of whether you go with an ISA service or you go with an ISA team member, the person making your calls represents you. Okay? Do not let someone represent you poorly. I will say that. Okay? It is imperative that you have someone working for your business in the right direction. You don't want to go outside. Like you want to be aligned, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, you want to be aligned. The relationship that I have with my clients is very much like a friendship. I care about their wins. They care to tell me when they get a closing or when they, had a great conversation with somebody, or maybe I didn't even reach the person, right? But I sent the contact information in a text and now they're like, yeah, Sarah, I definitely want to talk to that person. Maybe they reached out to the agent themselves and now the agent tells me. So we're like in sync because I am constantly in communication with the people that I make calls for, making sure I know how to pronounce the names of cities that are in their area that might not be easy to pronounce. I make sure that I understand what's going on in their market. I call all over the country. Okay. There's a different vibe to San Diego than there is to Phoenix, Arizona. And I need to adapt and adjust to that. Some, you call some areas with old money. Well, the way that I send my text message is going to be different. It's not going to be the same as what I would send to someone in Seattle, Washington, right? So these are all things that you want to look for, and you want to develop a relationship that is, very friendship based, very like in sync. Let's help each other out. Your wins are my wins. Your conversion is my conversion. We're going to look out for each other, because that's what it takes. And when you have that, then you have loyalty, and then you have something special. So that's what I will say about this. There's probably a lot of other questions that you might have about ISA services and ISA team members. I would love to go into all that. I don't want this to be about my company or anything like that. So I don't want to go into everything that we do differently and other people do. But you can find me on Workplace and this little group that I'm sure will pop up any second, and you can take a look at it and let me know if you have more questions about this, or if you are wondering, anything to do with ISAs, because the Workplace group is called Inside Sales Agents General. And if you join it, you'll be able to follow all things follow up, and I will definitely help you out with this stuff. And I share all kinds of fun stuff like prospecting bingo, which is a way to just make the calls and have fun with it, and also incentivize your ISAs. So check it out. And like I said, if you have any questions, join us on Workplace. All right, thanks so much. There you go. Scan the little dinosaur. Check it out. Sara Delansig. Bye.
Thank you for watching Level Up, brought to you by eXp University. Coming up next, building and nurturing relationships with your clients, with your hosts Ricky Carruth and Juan Barreneche. It's time to level up.
Everybody, how we doing, man? I got my boy Juan here. What's up, dude?
What's going on, my man? Pleasure to connect with everyone that's actually tuning in. We got a lot of content to cover, so really exciting.
Yeah, 100%. So I'll just kind of dive in here for a second. And don't mind my dog over here. He sees the mailman. He bit him the other day. But here's what I want you to understand, right? For the next 15 minutes, I'm really going to I want to dive into the current market situation just for a second, and then I want to really try to help you guys understand how to communicate better with your clients. I think it's something that we only really kind of scratch the surface with when it comes to a lot of training and coaches and brokerages. I don't really go deep with that part of it. It's something that I really try to go deep on, since no one else is. Somebody needs to, right? So first off, the market, just want to kind of touch on it for a second. 10 million people in the US did a deal this year. There were 5 million transactions, so there's a buyer and seller for every deal. So many transactions and opportunities. If you look in your MLS and look at how many closings are happening every single day, it's an ungodful amount. And hopefully you do that, and it opens up your eyes to the fact that the business is not going to stop. I mean, even when we were in a complete 100% shutdown, we were still having 80% of the same amount of business in terms of closed deals and pending deals happening. It's Mother Nature, ladies and gentlemen, and it's never going to stop. So your job is to voice out the headlines. And by the way, that's something that's very disappointing right now to me, is the fact that media is driven by clicks instead of fiduciary duty to give real facts and try to help people. It's very disappointing to see that media is driven by clicks instead of trying to help other people and really provide the best information so they can make the best decisions possible. And what's happening is it's scaring a lot of people. But hopefully, what I'm doing, and I see other people doing, and voicing the message that, a lot of this stuff is just clickbait. And here's the real facts. Hopefully it's kind of grown you numb to a lot of these headlines, and you're able to block that out and focus on what you need to focus on, which is building your business. When you look at your business over the next 3 to 5 years, if you concentrate on one thing, which is just create 5 new friends in the market every single day, put them in your database to remarket to forever, hopefully through a weekly email on the same day of the week forever, then you don't have anything to worry about in terms of market swings or whatever the case may be, because nothing stops you from going out and creating 5 new friends a day. It doesn't matter if the market plunges 70%, you can still, doesn't matter. You still have the ability to go out there and create 5 new friends a day. It doesn't matter if the agent count doubles in your market. That doesn't stop you from going out there and putting in the work to meet and make 5 new friends every day in your market, primarily property owners. So since you can't talk to every single person in your market and the full population, we really need to be efficient with who we're talking to. You'll never, if you, let's say you're in, let's just say, population is 500,000 where you are. That's really high for some places and really low for some places. So let's just use 500,000. Are you ever going to talk to 500,000 people? No. So we really need to narrow down to our niche and whoever our core audience is. And that's who we need to concentrate on. For me, it's primarily the property owners that own the exact properties I want to sell. Why wouldn't I? Because these prospects are not only sellers, but they're also the very best buyers, right? They're the highest quality buyers. I mean, when you call a property owner, you're literally prospecting for buyers and sellers at the same time, within the same swoop. You're concentrating on both, and you can do this via social media as well. This is all the same stuff, calling voice to voice versus digital marketing and engaging and getting into these, one-on-one conversations and DMs and comments and, understanding how to spur those communications and conversations. So key. But I'll tell you what can make you the most dangerous agent if you combine both of those and you make calls all morning and did social media all afternoon, right? And in the morning, the calls, who are we calling? Well, I don't care who you call. It could be all the data you collected from social media the afternoon before, right? You collect enough data to make calls all morning, and you're literally calling social media leads all morning. It could be circle prospecting, aspires for sale by owners, networking events, open house leads, Zillow, Facebook leads. I don't care who it is, but you got to call somebody or you're not going to do any deals. I mean, you will eventually call someone. It's either going to be, prospects to build your business, or it's going to be the welfare office or the bankruptcy lawyer or, the bank because you're getting foreclosed. You're going to call somebody. So you might as well step up and go ahead and understand that it's real conversation. That's the key. It's the gatekeeper between you and every closing that you want. And the more of those conversations you have, the more names you had, the more your name is in different hats, AKA property owners that might choose you and pull your name when they decide to buy or sell. So let's talk about communication for just a sec. And it's very simple to break it down like this. However you would talk to your mom, dad, brother, cousin is the same way you would talk to your prospect, lead, seller, buyer. It's the same thing. And if you can, next time you talk to your mom, dad, brother, cousin, if you could take a second during that conversation. Matter of fact, after this session, pick up the phone and call a close family member, right? Whoever the closest to you is that you talk to most frequently. And I want you to pay attention to your tone in the conversation, your body language in the conversation, how relaxed you are, how fast you're breathing, how fast you're talking, what you're saying, and how comfortable you are, how comfortable they are, the whole 9 yards. I want you to really look deep into that situation and say, okay, this is what Ricky was talking about. Let me emulate this exact feeling when I'm talking to my prospects. I'm telling you, if you do this, your business is going to explode. Now with communication, there's stages. There's 5 stages, right? The first stage is you're scared. And so every single person goes through the same exact process. Okay. I don't care who you are, Ryan Serhant, the biggest of the big people in the very beginning, right? We've all went through the same stages, myself, Juan, everyone. And stage 1 is you're scared. Oh, I'm calling somebody I don't know, or even if it's a lead from Zillow, it's like, oh no, this, you're scared. That's totally normal. So understand that that's natural. It's going to happen to everybody. But the future top producers, they blow through these stages. They're like, okay, I'm scared. That's okay. I'm still going to try it. Okay. And then they hit the next stage, and they go through the stages so quickly that before they know it, they're a top producer in a couple years. Right. But the low producers, they get stuck in stages. They get stuck with being scared. So they don't take the action. They just stay in stage 1. Or they get to stage 2 and then they don't want to advance to stage 2 and 3 because, they're just hesitant or scared, or it's getting a little, it's getting a little scary. So it holds them back, right? But remember, the future top producers are going to blow through all the stages and get all the way to the top as quick as possible. So don't hold yourself back. Just, it's like ripping a Band-Aid off. You just pull that sucker back, close your eyes, and it'll be all right. But stage one is you're scared. Stage two, you make the calls and you realize, wait, this isn't going to kill me. I can do this. So that's stage two. You're like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. Okay. Stage three is you want to know what to say. So now stage two is you're doing it, but then you're like, oh, okay, I'm in there. I'm having conversations. I'm in the game. But now what do I actually say? Let me refine what I'm saying. Let me get some good back and forth. Let me try to understand the words I'm supposed to be saying and what the real objective of the call is, which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is not a listing appointment or a contract or something like that. It's just to have a great conversation with someone and see what the real estate needs are. If they already have another agent, if it's okay, stay in touch. You'd love to do business with them. That's it. That's a conversion for me. But once you've got to stage three, which is what do I say? Stage four is, okay, I know what to say, but how do I say it? Okay, so let's go through. Stage one, you're scared. Stage two, you realize it's not going to kill you. Stage three, what do I say? Stage four, let me say it the right way. Let me learn how to use tone, body language, breath, speed of voice to see what I can do to get reactions out of people. Because that's the whole thing. When you're talking or you're negotiating, whatever you're doing in terms of communication, it's literally you're throwing something out there to see how they respond. When you're negotiating, you're throwing it out there to see how they respond. Based on their response is how you're going to react. Same thing with conversations, with lead gen, with cold calling, with warm calling, with meeting people at open houses, whatever the case may be. You're throwing out words to see how they're going to respond. So I'll share some of those words with you in just a second. But stage five is reading the other person on the phone. So and listen, it takes years to get through these stages. Like the first couple could go really quickly, but then as you really try to master your skills of communication, those last few stages take a long, long time to you really kind of mold yourself into this great communicator. Okay, so again, scared, realize it's not going to kill you, figure out what to say. Now we want to know how to say it. And then we want to start using all that to start reading the other person on the phone. And that's when you start to come into this mastery of communication. So I'll give you one of my scripts just to kind of give you an example of what I'm talking about. And then maybe this will help you understand and kind of bring the whole thing full picture. So I'll run through my script and then I'll break it down. Okay. So like if I'm cold calling just a property owner, right? And let's say their last name is Johnson, right? As soon as they answer, hey, Mr. Johnson, hey, Mr. Johnson, Ricky Carruth over here, eXp Realty in Gulf Shores. How you doing today? Good, me too. I'm enjoying the day. Isn't it gorgeous? Cool. Well, listen, I don't want to take up too much of your time. There was a house right around the corner from you that just sold. And I was just calling to see if there's anything in the world I can do for you right now. No? Cool. Is there an agent you would work with? If you were to do something, if you were thinking about buying or selling, do you have an agent you would call? No? Well, cool. Well, listen, I'm sure you're going to do something at some point. I would love the opportunity to work with you when that day comes. Would it be all right if I just stayed in touch? Right? And then it's like, yeah, see, getting the verbal confirmation. Cool. What's a good email? Is this your cell number? All right. Well, listen, again, my name's Ricky Carruth. I'm eXp Realty right here in Gulf Shores, right around the corner from you, right down the road. If you need something, I'm going to stay in touch with you. You let me know if there's anything I can ever do. I mean, even if you just need to help moving a piece of furniture or something, right? And listen, before I let you go, let me ask you this one last thing. If I had a great deal on a rental property, would you be interested in that? Great. What do you like? Single family, duplex, fourplex, commercial, multifamily, strip centers, raw land. What do you like? I'm going to get all that criteria. All right. So that's my script. If I'm just calling like a blanket, like that's just, random property owner. All right. Now let me break it down because that was surface level. Let me go deeper with it. The very beginning of the call. Okay. Mr. Johnson, it's a question. I'm throwing words out there to see how they respond. When they respond, I'm listening exactly what their tone and speed and and voice sounds like, because I can hear exactly what's going on in their mind. And from that moment, since I've been doing this for so long and made 100,000 calls, I literally know most of the time, 99% of the time, how the whole call is going to go, just based on how they responded to that first question. Okay. But I don't have enough data yet. I want to collect more data on what's really going on with them. So the first question is, Mr. Johnson, see how they respond. They're like, yeah, like, cool. Hey, this is Ricky Carruth at eXp Realty right here in Gulf Shores. How you doing today? Throwing more words out, seeing how they respond. Hey, how you doing today? I'm listening. Now I have 2 questions, 2 responses, and I'm seeing if they're kind of lightening up and opening up to me, or if they're still closed up. Right. And then they're like, I'm doing good. You know, how you doing? Or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, me too. I'm enjoying the day. Isn't it gorgeous? Now I've thrown out another question, throwing it out there, seeing how they respond. So I got 3 questions right there. I can collect so much data right there about how they're doing, and they're getting thrown off now because now I'm a real estate agent, but I haven't asked them if they want to sell their house yet. So they're like, okay, we're having like a real conversation here. This is weird. I'm not used to agents calling me to have a real conversation. I'm used to them calling me to see if they want to sell their house. Right. But I can listen to their whole situation. I only need 1, but I got 3 different responses I can use now through the rest of the call. And I know exactly how to take the call. Cool. Well, listen, I don't want to take too much of your time, but a house around the corner sold. Then if there's something I can do to help you, boom, respecting their time, giving them market information, and ask them if there's something I can do to help them, providing value. This is a real conversation, right, guys? They're like, yes or no, or whatever they say. If they're saying yes, I'm going to follow that, see where it goes, see what I can do to help them buying or selling. What are you looking for? Why are you looking to buy or sell? Are you already working with an agent? What's going on? If it's no, it's like, great. Do you have an agent you would call if you were to do something? Yeah, I'm sure you'll do something at some point. I love the opportunity to work with you. Is it okay if I stay in touch? I'm going to get the verbal confirmation from them that they say, yes, it's okay to stay in touch, before I ask for their email. Right. And then I'm going to say, great, cell phone, all this and that. Now, if they don't give me the email, or if they do give me the email, I want to end the conversation. If we're going to part ways and they're not looking to buy or sell anything right now, I'm just going to stay in touch. I want to say, listen, let me ask you one more thing before you go. If I had a great deal on a rental property, would you be interested? Just to see how they respond. Because I could bring this conversation back from the dead. They could say, no, I don't want to give you my email. They could say, I'm busy. They could say all this negative stuff. And then you throw that out there and they're like, boing, I think a rental property, a great deal. What you got? Now, all of a sudden, they're driving with you. And you can bring conversations back from the dead. But anyway, I could talk all day about this stuff, guys. I packed as much as I could into 15 minutes in terms of market, in terms of communication. I'm going to hand it back over to Juan, but I love you guys, and I'm always here to help.
So what Ricky just broke down is basically part 1 of how to build a relationship with someone. And if you understand that there's really no limit to how many people you can speak to, most agents we come across are not really having issues with generating leads. They're having issues with actually going out there and speaking to human beings, as Ricky just mentioned. So remember, there's going to be 5 million transactions this year, and the majority of those transactions are going to go to the top producers that are building the most relationships in the market. So what I'm going to speak about is, well, how do you build relationships and stay in touch with them so that you don't lose them when they're actually ready to buy or sell? You see, there's only 2 parts to the entire lead generation process. There's building the relationship, which Ricky just taught you how to do with the scripts and reaching out to them and actually speaking to them. And then there's the nurturing process. If you don't nurture them, doesn't matter how great of a relationship you had with them in that 30-minute conversation, they're going to forget you 2, 3, 4 years from now. So staying in touch is just as important as the initial call. And that's what we're going to speak about today. So essentially what we've done is we've automated the entire nurturing process down to 3 different channels. And the reason we use 3 different channels is because not everyone is going to like one channel over the other. Channel number 1 is going to be email. And that's going to consist of sending out a weekly, a bi-weekly, or a monthly newsletter. Really depends on your preference and how often you're actually willing to do it. Channel number 2 is going to be a text. We recommend doing a monthly holiday text just to stay in touch with people. And then channel number 3 is going to be a ringless voicemail drop. And I'm going to explain all 3 of them in detail. Let's start with the actual monthly newsletter. So where most agents go wrong with the monthly newsletter is they are consistently trying to advertise generating business for themselves. And all of their newsletters are oriented towards trying to get the actual consumer to go ahead and book an appointment with you in a way like they're trying to buy or sell real estate 24/7. First off, we need to understand 99% of consumers are not ready to buy or sell real estate at any given moment. Yes, they do want to buy a house every now and then. And yes, every now and then they may have a friend or family or a cousin who does want to purchase real estate, but the majority of time they are not in the market. So when you're bombarding them with information all the time, every single week about, hey, are you ready to buy or sell? At some point, it's going to lead to you getting unsubscribed. So when it comes to the newsletter, I recommend making it personal. I recommend making it more of like a vlog or more of like an update on what's happening with your life so that they can remember who you are and what you're up to, and try to add value in a way where you're educating them, not necessarily about the selling process, because that's the equivalent of a dentist trying to educate you about the root canal process. You don't really care until you actually need to get a root canal. You want to educate them on how they could build wealth investing in real estate, things that they could do to increase the value of their home, things that they could do to actually go out of the way and declutter their life and make their personal life a little bit easier to handle when you're cleaning up around the house. Things that you think would add value to someone, regardless of whether they're ready to buy or sell. Me and Ricky have excellent templates. I recommend you reach out to us on Instagram for those templates. We could give you some ideas of what we speak about. And actually something we do is we map out the entire year's worth of newsletters up front, so that instead of me having to come up with them every single week or every single month, we have everything set up on automation so that they're ready to go out one and done. You could choose to customize them yourself. You could choose to outsource them. We recommend with starting out with just sending them out once a week or once a month based on your schedule. And then once you get the consistency set, you could go ahead and customize them to your need. Second thing is going to be the text. Not many people check their emails, and if they do, they may go to spam, and there's really not so much you can do to control that. So what you want to do is now follow up with the second channel. Channel is going to be through text messaging blasts. And first off, when it comes to text messaging, you want to make sure that you have permission for them to actually opt into the text message blast. And number two, you want to give them an opportunity to opt out by saying, please reply back with stop to opt out of these messages. Once you have that out of the way, it's just a matter of, well, when do you find a good time and actually a date to go ahead and reach out to them? We went ahead and we compiled a list of 12 holidays throughout the year that are great opportunities just to go out of your way to say, hey, happy holidays. Just want to know I'm thinking of you, your favorite real estate agent, Juan. And if you could just do that in a very simple manner on a consistent basis, you're not asking for business, you're not writing paragraphs, you're just letting them know that you care about them, you're staying in touch, and if they ever need anything, reach out to you. It's a really good way for you to just stay top of mind. And if they ever need anything, best believe they have your number and they're going to know how to reach out to you. So that's going to be the text message blast. We recommend sending that out once per month. And it's a really good way for you to stay in touch, especially if they're not checking the email. The last one is going to be ringless voicemail technology, which KV Core already has implemented into it. You can actually do everything through KV Core. Being that you are part of EXP, you get KV Core included in your monthly fee. You can do the email, the text, and the voicemail all through that one platform. And what's really cool about the ringless voicemail technology is you can use it as an opportunity to record your actual voice and send it out to hundreds, if not thousands of people at the same time. So with the ringless voicemail drop, I recommend using that as an opportunity to ask for business. Use it as an opportunity to tell people an update of how you're doing with your business, how many families you've helped that year, and really what you want to do and essentially help them buying or selling in the entire process. I'll give you an entire script right now just so you have an understanding of how that could work. For example, a ringless voicemail that I would record would say, hey, this is Juan Carlos, your favorite real estate agent. I hope you've been getting my newsletters. The reason I'm reaching out is we've helped 30 families buy or sell real estate this year, and we're looking to help another 20. As always, if you need anything when it comes to real estate, please give me a call at 718-916-8301. And essentially that voicemail would go automatically into people's inbox. They now have an understanding that they can reach out to you for whatever they need. And if you're sending that out 2 or 4 times a year, you're going to see how much your phone fills up with leads. So that is the entire nurturing process from start to finish. If you do the email newsletters weekly, it does end up being more than 50 touches a year. If you do them monthly, it ends up being around 26. If you're doing 26 touches a year, you're basically nurturing your database once every 2 weeks. And it's not so much that you're on top of them every single day, but it's not little enough so that they actually they don't remember who you are. That's exactly what we're doing with our nurturing process. And now the only thing that's left on your end is back to what Ricky was saying, is filling up your database with 5 people a day. The people are all around you. It's just right now, we have these goggles where we're only looking for people that are ready to buy or sell now. The second we shift our mentality to trying to build relationships with everyone, all of a sudden there's leads all around us. And yes, you have to understand that those leads may not be ready to buy or sell now, but they're going to have referrals for you that they are going to want to refer to you if you stay in touch with them. And that's when the nurturing process comes into play. So I'm probably going to wrap it up right there for the 15 minutes. Ricky taught you about communication, how to fill up your database, the scripts, what to say, how to say it. I just kind of gave you the blueprint on how to nurture them correctly. And then as always, if anyone wants any of the scripts, the templates, an exact layout of exactly what we do, just DM us on Instagram. Ricky, what should they DM us so that we know it's coming from this podcast and we know what to send them?
What's up?
What should they DM us? I'm gonna have them DM us
They
EXP
almost level up.
level up EXP. Just DM us that
level
on
up.
Instagram. Level up. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And then we'll shoot you back information on our templates, our resources, everything that we use for our exact newsletters and campaigns. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't know, anything else you want to cover or go over?
I mean, listen, I just want to kind of just retouch on 2023 for a second before we go. I don't know when this show is this live. I don't know when this is going to go out, but I just want to just reiterate 2023 is going to be absolutely incredible. Anybody that says otherwise is looking at the wrong data or even not looking at data, I would fear to say. This is shaping up, honestly, to be the greatest opportunity that we've had in over a decade, guys, to really acquire more market share. And the market is retracting a little bit, but you got to understand, your business is like a grain of salt on a grain of sand on the beach. If you've got 100 yards of beach and it goes down to 30 yards, you lose 70%. That little grain of sand is still non-existent in the entire, even local markets. You have the ability to go out there and double and triple your business next year. I think the reason you're not, a lot of agents aren't, is because they're caught up in the fact that the market is retracting. So they think that's the equivalent of their business retracting, but that's so wrong. And if you would look at it from my point of view, that you go out there and triple your business and then really set yourself up for your business to explode when the market re-expands, that's where the market could really affect your business. Let's just put it like that. Markets retracting, it can fluctuate a little if you retract with it, but if you go even harder, you can multiply your business. But where your business could really be affected by the market is on the positive upswing when the market, re-expands, and your business could expand with the market, ladies and gentlemen. That's why this is such a massive opportunity right now. And if you can go all in, I'm telling you, for the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, your 2027, 8, 9 is going to be crazy, right? The reason why I started selling 100 properties a year is because in 2014 is because of what I did in 2008, 9, and 10. So I'm just telling you from experience that this is your moment if you want to be, let's just say, the #1 agent in your MLS.
So we're going to end off with that. Once again, we're always open to helping anyone out when it comes to building their business or scaling it. If anyone wants to get a hold of us, best way to reach out to us is on Instagram. My handle is at Juan Goldbar, and Ricky's is
at Ricky Carruth.
So looking forward to connecting with
Alexa
everyone.
right then.
Looking forward to connecting with everyone. Hope you have a phenomenal holiday season. And looking forward to crushing 2023 by everyone else.
Happy holidays, guys. We'll see you on
Take
the
care,
other
everyone.
side.
Watching Level Up, brought to you by EXP University. Coming up next, Triple Threat Talks with Joseph Trujillo and Gabe Mendez. Take it away.
Hey, what's going on, good family? It's Joseph Trujillo. Super excited to jump on this level up conversation. I'm here with my boy, Mr. Gabe Mendez himself. Before we take a deep dive into this extraordinary session here, I'd like to go ahead and introduce myself, and then I'll hand the mic over to Gabe. I've been with EXP 4 years now. I'm a 4-time icon agent in the company. I've been helping exclusively with the direction of EXP Latino. I reside here in Southern California, and the opportunity that's been presented to me here at EXP has completely changed how me and my family have been living. So I'm entirely grateful to my community and to all of you real estate professionals that have been, aligned with us in this vision and in this purpose. So super excited. Thank you for the invitation to be able to present to you guys today. We have an incredible conversation that's going to be geared around production, attraction, and of course, with the social media guru here, social media, Mr. Gabe Mendez. Brother, how are you?
My boy Joe, appreciate the introduction, man. And everyone who's out there watching the video, my name is Gabe Mendez, born and raised in San Diego. I sell real estate throughout Orange County, Los Angeles, Inland Empire, obviously San Diego County. I run a small sales team of about 7 people. I have about 3 administrative staff. It's about 10 of us total. We average about 80, 90 units per year. The last 2 years in a row, we've done over 100 sides. And I've been in the business now for 8 years. I got into real estate because back in 2007, my mother was a victim of predatory lending. So I went through the whole crash. I know what that was like to get evicted out of a property, to be homeless, and then to bounce back. And so our mission statement here at the Gabe Mendez Group is to advocate for those who don't have a voice. And I've been proudly at EXP for the last 6.5 months. It's been probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire real estate career, life-changing in so many different ways. And I get to meet people like Joe. Bro, you are not just an icon in EXP, man, but you're an icon in the real estate game. Everyone knows who you are. I have a lot of respect for you, man. So I'm excited to be on the show with you today.
Likewise, my brother. Likewise, man. When they reached out and said, "Hey, man, we're thinking about putting together this show. You know, who would you like to get in conversation with?" I said it was a no-brainer, man. I said I was trying to think of who's like that triple threat, right? Like in sports and athletics. And it was a clear choice, man. Having you on here, being hyper productive with everything that you're doing. Having a conversation about attraction, and then of course the social media factor, and tying it all together is going to be phenomenal. So let's jump into it, bro. Let's talk about production.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's go.
Yeah, I one thing that always intrigued, and I was always respectful about your game, is that you guys lead with production. You guys are hyper transactional. In the last year or two, share with us a little bit about what you and your team have done exclusively that has created some market separators.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I mentioned, kind of in the intro, Joe, the reason I got into real estate was because my mom was a victim of predatory lending. So I decided to get into it, advocate for first-time home buyers. That's always been my niche, first-time home buyers. One of the biggest things that 99% of real estate coaches will teach you is that go for listings. Listings control the market, which they do. You can earn a lot more money with listings, a lot more time trading with listings. But I knew one thing, that if everyone was looking left, then I needed to go right. So they were preaching go for listings, and there was a big exposure in the market back in 2014 for buyers. No one was marketing to them. So if you scroll back on my Facebook or Instagram, the first thing that you'll see is every single message was centered around down payment assistance programs, how to improve your credit score, first-time homebuyer programs, all those things. And that separated me automatically from everyone else. And not because I wanted to do it, but my heart was really there. My mom is first generation, first-time home buyer from Mexico, and that was my demographic that I wanted to serve. So I did that for a few years. My name grew, my brand grew. Naturally, I started building a team to help me with a lot of this production that I had. And obviously a lot of ups and downs with the team. Being a high-producing sales agent and then being a leader, 2 separate skill sets, 2 separate focuses, 2 different mindset shifts. And I had to make that shift into leadership. So now we're at this position where we have a really good brand. People know who we are. We run our business with excellence, just like you do. I mean, I see the way that you dress. I see the way you speak. And I mean, honestly, man, you truly are an icon to a lot of us in real estate. And so we operate our business the same way. High level of excellence, high level of commitment, discipline in the business. And so I know that's what separates us. It's that we have that it factor, that heart factor that we bring into it. Every single agent that's on my team has a story, something that they can relate to real estate or to the struggle. And I know that's what separates us from everyone else, because we can relate to our audience the way that, with our stories and all of it. So that's kind of our big thing right now, is that we have a lot of heart into what we do. And the Latino community, man, you know how it is. I mean, it's all like families and hugs and kisses and all of it. So we bring a lot of that into the business, and then you amplify it on social media, man. It just continues to grow. But that's kind of our niche. But I've always wanted to find out, man, kind of a little bit about your business whenever you get a second.
Yeah, brother. And first of all, man, before you came to EXP, bro, I was one of those guys. As a matter of fact, I think I could try to reach out to you several years ago, because I was just following your journey on social media was so impactful. Even for me, watching it and sharing it, man, the way you guys operated day to day, it seemed easy. Like you guys, it just seemed like to flow naturally. And all the connections you guys were making with your buyer and sellers, just bringing that full circle, and then creating this brand. Like your brand spoke for itself. So I really, really had a lot of respect for you even before you got here. Now that you're here, it's all family, so it's even better, right? So
Yeah, I'm into that, man. Yeah, absolutely.
and I actually resonate with what you shared, brother. Like, I got into real estate really just to sell my own home. I always tell people that, right? I spent 20 plus years in government service, and then just needing to sell my own home and get licensed and just rock it myself. But I dove into it because I just wanted to help the people that I had worked with for over 20 years. A lot of law enforcement, firefighter communities. Those were the people that I spent time with, and they just knew and trusted me. And so I just took a deep dive into helping them. Matter of fact, I can remember in the first couple of years, I would take any kind of opportunity. You know what I mean? I didn't care much about commission. I didn't care much about, how much time I was going to spend. So it was a different approach. I wasn't really paying. It was actually probably a pitfall in my first year where I wasn't paying attention to like a real strong business structure behind what I was doing as an independent agent. And then in my second year, when my business really took off, is when I started to get really refined and created more of an abundance mindset and really, keyed into my business. I was like, wow, I have a lot to offer, buyers and sellers. Like, I'm starting to prove that I can really help them in this process and have an impact in what they were trying to achieve. And that's when my business really shifted and it went next level, because now I started to kind of create more of a business plan, more of a structure behind what I was doing independently. And then it was just getting action oriented, right? Action based. My entrepreneurial spirit and mindset also just kind of kicked in, and I didn't overthink it. I just jumped into it, started hiring TC, started hiring buyers agents, and created leverage in my business plan. And then, of course, I got introduced to EXP, and that just, 100x'd what I was doing at the time. And then for me and my business, it got to a point where I was still working full time in the government and kind of doing it part time at EXP for my first year. But I was literally leaving money on the table in my full time occupation. So I had to make that career jump and go all in. And it's been the best decision I ever made. Clearly, coming into EXP with just one good friendship, one agent, my partner Decatur Thornton, and now having close to 650 agents in the network, in the organization is a blessing, to say the least. And being able to collaborate with the people that I know, I trust, and the people that I want to be in business with, right, is a game changer, brother. So that's been my journey when it comes to what production has been like. And now I spend a lot of my time just giving back those efforts to team leaders, other valuable real estate agents that are joining our organization and our company. So that's where I've been hyper focused this last year or so.
Yeah, you can tell from the outside looking in that you run an operation, you run a business. And that's something very early on that I picked up for my personal self, was treating the business like a business. And that's probably one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give a lot of real estate agents who are out there that are young in the business, or even if you're a veteran and you've been in the business for 10, 15 years, but you haven't experienced growth. You've been doing 10, 15 years in real estate, but it's the same 1 year repeated 10 or 15 times. The biggest breakthrough for me was when I decided to treat the business like a business, and it began paying me like a business. I put on my business owner hat. I started looking at operations. I started looking at hiring people, leveraging my time, discovering what was the highest and best use of my time, and then identifying talented individuals, putting them in places where they can excel, and then focusing on culture and then building it from there. So, bro, I can tell from just from the outside in, you guys run a tight ship. I mean, obviously you guys are expanding, you're growing. I think you guys just opened an office, right? Didn't you?
Yeah.
Or are you guys getting ready to open one?
Yeah, we've actually kind of partnered up with a lot of these other great teams and stuff like that. So we've opened up quite a few. And it actually ties in perfectly to this conversation about attraction, right? And so, I mean, this all wouldn't happen if there wasn't this amazing opportunity created by Glenn and our executive team, where we can come into this company and, like you said, duplicate ourselves, right, through our attraction. And thank you for those kind words, brother, about what you've seen from the outside. And obviously we have this co-respect for each other. with the attraction point, I did want to say this, if you don't mind me kind of jumping into it first,
No, go ahead.
It was really just a pay forward kind of attitude and effort, where as I was just kind of doing my job organically, that's how I fell into attraction. Because admittedly, I didn't come to EXP because of that. I came to EXP because of the ownership opportunity through stocks and shares. But what I found in attraction just organically was, as I was just working on the other side of the table in transactions, that I had something to offer these other amazing agents. And it was just a conversation flow about, what does your business look like, and a mutual respect, because we were working collaboratively as professionals. And as I started to present that opportunity, it became clear to a lot of people that I had close relationships with, that, yeah, maybe what Joseph is doing is something, worth taking a look at. And that's how it kind of spun off for me. And I just had a lot of conversations in a short amount of time. Like my first year, bro, I went in, like, I just tried to talk to as many people about it, because I just inherently believed in it, right? I tell everybody, if you believe, other people will want to believe as well. And so that's what kicked off for me. And now, those multiple conversations have turned into a repetitive interest in what we have going on and what else we can offer. And as this company has continued to grow, in my experience in the last 4 years, and of course, being in every single state in the U.S. and in now, I believe it's 24 countries, it's become such an organic opportunity to be able to have all these tentacles globally and share the good word, share the information, but most importantly, make agents better agents, right? And so I've always led with that, and that's been a huge asset for me and my team. And then, of course, duplicating leadership is where we're at now, and I'm really passionate about that. I know you've been doing it for a hot minute. You were attracting people before you even came to EXP. How important was attraction and the revenue share opportunities or leveraged income opportunities with EXP for you when you made that decision?
So I only made the move for two reasons. One was for the revenue side of the business, and two was for the leverage of having other people support me in the business. Those are the only two reasons I made the move. So the first one was, I just got frustrated because I learned something at every single brokerage that I was at. Started my career at Coldwell Banker. I loved it there. They taught me all the fundamentals, contracts. I would more like the contractuals, actually probably all contracts. A lot of support on the contract side. That was amazing. Then after 2 years there, I moved over to this independent brokerage. That's where I started to learn how to build systems and processes, begin to duplicate myself. It's this small company called the Associates Realty Group, but I was working out of their satellite branch in San Diego. I was there for 12 months, and then Century 21 recruited me. They had just opened up a marketing division where they had their own studio, camera crew. They were going to go all in on social media, which was the perfect timing for me, because that's around 2018, 17 and 18, where I started to take off on social media. So they offered me unlimited concessions, unlimited video, editing, YouTube, vlogging, and I leveraged it to the max. So at Century 21, I learned how to build a business, finances. The CEO there was really great. I loved it. But there was a ceiling on the growth. And the growth was every single time they had a company training, every single time they had a top producer panel, I always found myself on it. I was the guy that was working the hardest. I made the most follow-ups. I wrote the most thank you cards. I hosted the most open houses. And I would show up early to the office, be one of the last ones there. So there's no real secret sauce to success. It's just really putting in the hours and getting better at it every single day. And I was doing that. And so they had me speak. And then one day, one of my buddies is like, bro, they're always asking you to speak on stage. They're always asking you. And then you start hearing all these conversations about, well, if you're the smartest person in the room, if you're the biggest fish in the pond, you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And all these little conversations start to drip on me over time. And it starts to seep into my subconscious. I'm like, man. And then I really start thinking about it, because let's be real. In the very beginning, for most of us, if someone tells you something that logically makes sense, if you're not ready to receive it, it's going to just fall on deaf ears and they're not going to hear anything anyways. You have to be able to receive that message. I wasn't ready to receive that message when I first heard it, but because it was dripping on me for such a long time, that finally when that crossroad met that opportunity, I'm like, oh crap, I am the biggest fish in the pond. I am always top 10. I am always teaching these people. Where's the room for growth? And that's when I found out about the EXP model. And I found out that I had access just to not like one manager, one broker, not just one mentor, one coach. It was everyone. I'm like, wait, so I have access to this guy who specializes in luxury, that woman who's built an escrow company, this guy who's recruited 2,000 people. Like I have access to all of them. But like, yeah. And they're all incentivized to help me grow my business. Yeah. And they're all going to be there 7 days a week. Yeah. I'm like, bro. And the compensation model was way better than what I was getting paid already. Like, yeah. So that caught my attention. And then when they explained the revenue side of the business, I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer. I'm gonna work and sell houses anyways. That's what I'm gonna do the rest of my career. I'm gonna build a sales team. I'm gonna do that anyways. So will I take more support? Yes. Will I take a pay increase, 100% model? Yes. Never had that in 7 years of my career. Never had it.
Wow.
Now I finally have that. And then you couple it off with, as you do well, agents are gonna ask you for advice, invite them to the company, help them grow, and you get compensated. It was a no-brainer at that point. And so it was those two reasons that I made made the move over. It's been the best thing since. So I've been here now for about 6.5 months. I officially moved my license August 15th of 2022. But I did something that I think was pretty genius. I started planting seeds with people before I made the move. And I began having those exploration phone calls. So it was more of like a come save me call. It's like, hey, I'm thinking about making this move to this new company. Will you take a look at it? Tell me what your thoughts are. And I had a bunch of my friends start looking at it, and they all have conversations. And that started probably like in March of last year or April of last year, started having conversations. And then a few people were like, hey, if you do this, I'm going to do it with you. So by the time August 15th came, I made my license, I moved it over. I had a small little group of people that made the move with me. And then I stayed hush hush about it for like 30, 60 days. I wanted to test it out. I wanted to make sure that EXP was everything that you hear it is. I didn't want to just go make the move and then make an announcement and then have to go leave the company and go back after I make an announcement. So I tried it out for about 45 days or so. And yeah, sure enough, it was everything I thought it was going to be. The support was there. The compensation was there. Enrolling the agents was there. So about 45 days into it, I made my official announcement. And now about 6.5 months later, we've grown the group to, we just passed 101 agents on Monday. So now we're just a little over 100 agents in the last like 6 months, which has been a big blessing. And we're just leading with value. That's all it is. Like you said something to me that resonated a lot, which was I knew I had a lot to offer other agents. There was something inside of me that I knew that I could offer my experience. My brain operates in a way where I have to compartmentalize things. I'm like an architect. I need step 1, step 2, ABC kind of checklist kind of thing. That's my mindset. That's how my brain works. And real estate's not like that at all. Real estate's, it's like, hey, go show this house. And there's no system, no process, no standard operating procedure on how to do anything. You can ask your manager, you can ask your broker, and I've asked all of them, and no one has one way of doing it. They're like, well, go talk to Mike Ferry, go talk to Tom Ferry, go talk to this person. And then everyone has their own way of doing it, but there was no streamlined way that made sense with actual checklists, training and support behind it, like an actual manual. For example, if you go work at Starbucks and you have your 2-week onboarding process, they tell you what to wear, the ingredients that you should be using for the blending the drinks, how much of the ingredients should be used, how to greet someone when they walk in, how to write their name on the cup. Like it's a cookie cutter system. Right. Real estate, it doesn't exist like that for real estate. So I took my 7 years of experience, packaged it up. I'm like, I can offer this to agents. And that's what I've been doing. It's been the biggest blessing, bro.
Oh, bro.
Sure.
Yeah, and I watched it all develop, man. I was watching keenly on how you were going to strategize that move, and you're right. I think it was genius the way you put it all together, because it created, from my observation, not just momentum in what you were putting together, but it also like developed like culture, right? You had like this cult-like opportunity and following where great agents were connecting with you, and they aligned with the vision. And you were able to do that, again, from my perspective, with a lot of strong social media presence, is what I observed. You were implementing videos, really cool videos, not standard stuff, guys. Like if you guys haven't watched Gabe Mendez's videos, like dial in with him on social media, but the video components were on fire. There was a vibe behind it. And of course, you were leading with the value proposition that, right, they're not just joining a company, they're joining a company, they're joining a family, they're joining a group Tell us a little bit about that, bro. Like how does your social media tie in to production and into attraction for you to have like this perfect recipe?
So marketing is, well, my belief is that in any business, marketing is the number one skill you need to learn first as an entrepreneur, as a business builder. And then after that, it's sales skills. So if you own a storefront, you open up a shoe store. If you want customers to walk in through that front door and begin buying merchandise from your store, you better have a really good marketing plan to get people in there. Sign spinners outside, billboards, commercials, whatever to bring attention to that storefront. So I take that same philosophy and I use it with social media. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, my billboard is Instagram. My television network is Facebook. My all of these advertising methods are my social media. Let me just leverage it to the max. So that, number one, that's my philosophy behind it. And then the second thing is when it comes to agent attraction and attracting clients, I lead with value first. And everything to the consumer is always helping them, educating them, inspiring them. So if you see a first-time home buyer video, someone who purchased their home, it's an inspiring story. I capture, I'll either film it with my phone or I'll hire a professional crew company to come by, but it's an inspiring story. You can see the smiles, you can see the happiness, and then I take time writing the ad copy. And that's really important. Social media is just not post and go. It's not just something that we do. It's our business. It's how we market ourselves. A lot of people put a crap load of attention, excuse my language, but on postcards and billboards and television, but yet you have that same effect with your cell phone and we just kind of treat it like whatever. I see people who don't take any time, any effort into developing ad copy. And now with like AI, with Chat GPT and things like that, it'll create the ad copy for you. And the ad copy, I mean the caption on your post, but you can create that caption and someone can do it for you, or you can hire someone on Fiverr. There's no excuse why we can't have a very strong, compelling caption. So I take that picture, I take that story, it attracts a lot of first-time home buyers. Again, whatever you put out there is what you're going to attract. If you want to attract a lot of down payment assistance, first-time home buyers, talk about down payment assistance and first-time homebuyer programs. If you want to attract a lot of luxury, well, look like it and speak like it. You're going to attract whatever you put out there. If you want more weight loss clients, then talk about weight loss. That's the kind of philosophy behind it. Same thing with agent attraction. What do real estate agents want? They want to earn more money. They want the freedom of the lifestyle, and everyone looks at real estate as this cool career. So I got to put out that cool persona, cool content to show them what it is when you get into the business. And that's the content that I put out there. I show the person who I'm talking to, the lifestyle, the excitement, the inspiration. They come in, we vibe, we connect. Some people that I've talked to about agent attract or joining EXP with me, we just didn't vibe, and that's okay. There's another vibe for that tribe, and they can go over there, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But anyways, long story short, I use social media as a way of attracting people with my clients. I use it as a way of attracting agents. I put out there what I want to attract, and that's what I ultimately get. And I think you do a really good job at doing that too, because I've watched you from afar since last year, and I like how you create hype, how you create community. I love how you're shouting out the new agents. You're making them feel included. I love like the photos and the shout outs. Like there's a lot of amazing things that you do within your group. And like a wise man once said, man, where it's healthy, things grow. And I can see you guys growing.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, it was important for me in the onset of my, real estate career, when I was mostly just concerned with attracting, buyers and sellers in the market and how to leverage social media. And I by no means invented any of like the really prototypical, marketing, looks that are out there. But I remember looking back into my market at the time saying, wow, like what if I just got super loud? What if this was like my movie, my billboard? And that's where I kind of kicked it off. I was just doing the basics, just promoting every single property that I was selling or listing, doing it from, just went into escrow, pending, closed, interviewing my clientele, and just getting information flow out in the atmosphere. And that really boosted, my sales production as an agent, a real estate agent. So just leveraging the looks behind it. And then the light bulbs just went on for me. It's like, why would I do mailers for me? Like, why would I do door knocking? That just wasn't good use of my personal time. where I could get more eyes on me using social media platforms. And then, of course, like obviously us as Latinos, man, we got a whole little thing going on with food and culture and music. And I like to be true to who I am. And so why not incorporate a Drake song in the background, or, you know, throw an old school jam behind some social media, and just create this like community where people are like, you know what? That dude Joe is not, he's not just a good agent, but I could break bread with him. Like we can like invite him over and have some carne asada or whatever that looks like. And that has like been a key component in the brand that I've been trying to develop, and sharing it with my communities. So, and it has helped. It's helped a lot, right? And the connection between agents, between buyers and sellers in the market, and leveraging the social media out there has been something that I don't take for granted. You know, it really does humble me to be able to share the word. And now, of course, participating in like nonprofit opportunities and giving back is something that is really important to me. But thank you for asking me that, bro. I appreciate the opportunity to share.
Yeah, I think one thing I really admire about you is that you're the same person online that you are offline. And when I was watching you from afar, from before we actually met in person, developed a relationship, I was like, dang, is this Joe? Like, he seems really cool, like down to earth, laid back, high profile, high energy, high level man. But how is he going to be in person? Because you never know, man. Some of these people, big egos, big attitudes. But the cool thing about you is what you see online is the same person that you get offline. And I think that's not, I think, man, that's exactly why you are successful.
Yeah, likewise, brother. Likewise, man. It's cool to see this develop, man. Like you've been watching me, I've been watching you. Like, man, you're an excellent speaker, like a thought leader. Like there's these things that are developing, right? Where there's like this platform that we've been blessed with. And to be able to like give all that back to this community, even on this show, is phenomenal. Just to kind of tie it all in, my brother, let's close this out. I would love to hear from you. So any closing remarks on what everybody can expect from you in the next coming year, right? When it comes to production, attraction, and your social media, any golden nuggets you could drop for us?
Yeah, no. So the biggest thing for myself right now is my message shifted. So in the very beginning of my career, I advocated for first-time homebuyers, for those who didn't have a voice. That is still to this day our mission statement here at the Gabe Mendez Group. But now, because of the company EXP, which is the vehicle that is allowing us to do everything that we do, I have a newfound like mission. Like my goal is to go out there and help real estate agents increase their income and become professionals in the industry. I feel like that's the two biggest gaps. How do you make more money yet at the same time become a professional? And what do professionals have? They have standard operating procedures, they have systems, they have processes, they have administrative help. They treat the business like a business. You don't see doctors and attorneys out there winging it. You don't see your attorney out there trying to figure it out. When you walk into their office, whether we know it or not, it looks dialed in. Most of us real estate agents, if you peek behind the curtain to see what the operations look like, it's complete, it's chaos. And that's not because it's our fault. The industry's fault has done that. Traditional real estate brokerages, what they've done is they've taken an agent and said, go sell more houses, acquire more clients, make more calls, knock on more doors. And then you acquire clients. But the thing is, you trade all of your time for all of this money, and then you get stuck in this rat race and you can't leverage yourself. And of course, why would they want to teach you how to get out of the rat race? This is how these brokers and managers make all this money. And it's not a bad business model, and they're not bad people for doing it. It's just how their model works. When I moved over to this company, EXP, I figured, no, there's a way to create freedom and all of us can get paid. And that's my focus. That's my mission, is to help real estate agents increase their income, become professionals out there. So you're going to see me do a lot more of that. And then also help develop my immediate sales team to continue selling houses and helping families. And that's what the focus is. And I don't know, man, wherever else God takes me, I'm kind of excited for the journey. I've never been someone who's kind of like said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm the guy that goes with the flow. Like one day I'll wake up and it's like, I'm going to do this. And somehow I end up in San Francisco or New York, or I'm on a road trip or something like that. I love the variety and the freshness of life. I don't ever try to focus on it, but if I have a direction I'm going to go in, that's the direction I'm going to be going in this year. So if you guys want to follow the journey, connect with me on Instagram at Gabe Mendez. And rip off and duplicate all my content, everything that you see there. And if you need any help, send me a direct message. Let's connect. Follow me on YouTube at the Mendez Squad. I think we're at 75,000 subscribers, somewhere around those lines. And let's connect with it. What about you, Joe? Give us some closing thoughts, bro. End us with some fire.
Yeah, I'll make it short and sweet, brother. I'm completely in line with you. I'm on a hardcore mission to just close the wealth gap. Close the wealth gap between, agents, close the wealth gap, between buyers and sellers in the market. And it all starts with home ownership, right? And then we build from there. So if we all get in line with that mission, we're all going to end up, smiling in a happy place. So I'm super excited about that. If you guys want to dial in and connect with me, social media is always the best place. You can find me on IG at Icon Joe Trujillo, all other sites at Joseph Trujillo. And I look forward to connecting with everybody. I'm going to be at all the mega events for EXP. So if you see me, you see Gabe, reach out. Let's take a picture. Let's hang out and connect. Thank you, EXP, for this opportunity. Gabe, my brother, I look forward to linking up with you here shortly, my bro.
Let's level up, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. Level up.